So here's the inferior aspect of the brain. We're going to go through the cranial nerves and maybe some other structures as well. The cranial nerves are numbered in Roman numerals, and they run rostrally towards the caudal region of the brain, and they're paired, so there's two of each of them. And the way, the mnemonic in class that I gave you guys to remember them is O, 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 to touch and feel very good velvet, A-H. Okay, so let's go through them. The first O is ophthalmic, olfactory. It's the olfactory branch, and this is your sense of smell. So this is a purely sensory cranial nerve, meaning all the fibers here carry just sensory information. And the tract is this line in the back, and the olfactory bulb is the rounded end of it. So that's olfactory cranial nerve 1. The next O in the OOO is optic. So the optic nerve runs from each eye and then will cross as it hits the brain, and this is called the optic chiasm. And then from the chiasm, they're called optic tracts, and the tracts go back into the brain. So again, it's optic nerve, optic chiasm, and then optic tract. So in this area around the optic nerve, you can see that we have the infundibulum, a portion of the infundibulum here, and then we have the mammillary bodies. In this area, we can see also the anterior midbrain, which is called cerebral peduncles. And then arising from here, we have cranial nerve 3. So our third O, OOO, which is oculomotor, which is a purely motor nerve that goes to move 4 out of the 6 muscles, except for 2, the lateral rectus and superior oblique. It also moves the levator palpebrae superioris, which, if you remember, opens your eyelid, the upper eyelid. So that's cranial nerve 3, purely motor. OOO2, our first T is our trochlear nerve. So this nerve goes to one of our eye muscles, the superior oblique only. It's only a motor, strictly a motor neuron. Motor nerve. And if you look at the picture of superior oblique muscle, the tendon of it goes through something called a trochlea. It's a little loop that allows the tendon to kind of hit the eye at an oblique angle. So that's why the trochlear nerve is called that, because it has this trochlea as part of its structure. To touch, the next one is the trigeminal. So look how big that root is. It is a big nerve. It has 3 major branches, the ophthalmic branch, the maxillary branch, and the mandibular branch. And the trigeminal is a mixed nerve, so it goes to all sensory information of the face is served by this trigeminal, as well as muscles of mastication, so all the muscles that help you chew, such as your pterygoids and your masseter and your temporalis. Okay, so OOO, to touch. And our A is abducens. This goes to the last muscle of the eye, the lateral rectus, because that muscle will pull your eye laterally, which is also known as abducting the eye. So this is abducens. This is also purely motor. Then we have the first F, facial. So this is our facial muscle. This is a mixed nerve. It goes to muscles of facial expression. Okay, so all your facial expression comes from this one, and it has sensory for the tongue. So it goes to 2/3 of your tongue. Okay, so that's facial number 7. Number 8 is vestibulocochlear. Oh, let me just finish up. There's actually 5 branches of the facial nerve. So those branches are temporal, zygomatic, buccal, mandibular, and cervical. And the mnemonic to remember those are 10 zebras bought my car. All right, now we're on to vestibulocochlear, cranial nerve 8. And this has 2 branches, vestibular branch and cochlear branch. One obviously going to the cochlea for hearing, the other one going to the vestibule for balance and equilibrium. All right, so this is purely sensory nerve. Now we're going to move down to our first G, OOO, to touch and feel very good. This is glossopharyngeal. So this is a mixed nerve. It goes to the tongue and detect blood pressure, in the carotid body, and also it helps to move the pharyngeal muscles, and it helps to eject saliva from the parotid salivary gland, which is the largest salivary gland. Okay, so glossopharyngeal. Remember, glosso means tongue, so this one serves to aid in taste. So the next one down is vagus, number 10. Vagus is also a very important cranial nerve. This one delivers parasympathetic fibers all the way down into the thorax and the abdomen, so it's the only cranial nerve that leaves the head and neck region, and goes to innervate the viscera. Okay, so parasympathetic fibers are rest and digest fibers, so they stimulate digestion and it helps you digest your food. Okay, so this vagus nerve is actually a mixed nerve. It carries sensory information from the diaphragm as well as going to the visceral organs, the smooth muscle in the viscera. Okay, so that's vagus. Then we have AH, so the A is for accessory. Accessory cranial nerve 11 is only motor. It goes to move the trapezius, the sternocleidomastoid, the pharynx and larynx, so muscles there. And it actually arises from the spinal cord and comes up and comes out again with the vagus nerve. So it's actually accessory to the vagus nerve. And then our last one is hypoglossal. This is also purely motor. It only goes to the tongue to help you talk. Oops. And that's about it because the light went out on me. But those are your cranial nerves. Enjoy.